Hello, hello, and welcome to the Fairy Coach Tarot channel. My name is Raquel. Thank you for being here. And today we are looking at our chakras with tarot. So we're getting a message from the tarot for each one of our 7 main chakras to see what guidance or advice the Spirit gives us in order for our energy to flow in a healthy manner for us. All right. So please be in a relaxed position, one where you feel connected to the video. Roll those shoulders back and let's connect and ground through the breath. All right, let's take a deep breath in. Hold at the top for a couple of minutes and exhale through the mouth, elongating that exhale as if you were blowing a birthday candle. All right, let's shake a little bit, roll those shoulders back again, and without thinking, pick the card or the fairy that calls more on you intuitively. Ready? All right, let's begin with the pink fairy. We begin by setting the intention and letting the cards know what it is that we want. All right. We would like to get a message for each one of our 7 main chakras in love and light for our highest good. All right. 2 for the crown chakra. 3rd eye. And throat chakra. All right. That's all things. Always have a little issue making all the cards in this spread fit with my layout. All right, let's go with the heart chakra. 1, solar plexus, sacral, and the root one doesn't seem to want to come out. Oh, and the root one, 2 messages or 2 cards, 1 message. All right, let's begin with our crown chakra. And we get the message from the Lovers and the Fool. Interesting. All right. So, what are these 2 cards telling us together when it comes to our position here in the crown chakra? That it is that connection to spirituality or our spiritual journey, right? And it's saying if we had to look at this as if it was an energy forecast, obviously it is a very positive would be a very positive reading, because these are 2 major arcana cards that, I always say that every tarot card is neither good or bad, but there are some that just emanate more positive feelings about it. And these 2, the Lovers and the Fool, do that. So when it comes to our spirituality, that crown chakra, the Lovers is starting by saying, that our connection to spirituality is sacred, right? And by making choices that align with those values that we have. So, most religious path or spiritual path tend to have very similar I would say, tenets on values that they value love and doing good, and that connection to source. But here specifically, it's telling you, now making those any choice right now that aligns with your spiritual path, with the faith that you have, whatever path that is, it's very important, and it's what's going to keep that good flow of energy through that chakra. So making choices based on the values and morals that are part of your faith and are part of your beliefs. So staying aligned with that, right? And also, what it's saying is that right now, having even if you would say having the freedom to explore more your spiritual path, right? So not to be afraid to or try to learn more about the path that you have chosen, your spirituality. Learn more. Be willing to go on this adventure spiritually, right? So the two main messages: make choices that align with with your faith or your spiritual path, and explore more about the path you have chosen, just to make sure it's in alignment with you, it's in alignment with those values, right? So it's important to explore more. Beautiful positive cards there. And here let's look at the third eye chakra. And the third eye chakra comes from the devil. So another major arcana. When we have a lot of major arcana, it's just pretty much saying that the cards have the message that they are telling you right now is important because it's going to have an impact on you, right? So it it's kind of saying important messages. Now the devil card, please do not be afraid. I always say that from the devil card, the death card, the tower card, the cards that people just associate with something negative. So for your third eye, the devil is just coming to tell you that perhaps right now it would be it is important to practice any technique that opens that third eye more. We're all intuitive. We all have a third eye chakra, and it's not saying necessarily that the energies are blocked, but it is saying that they could there is something that could be more open. And perhaps one thing to examine is your beliefs about intuition, right? What are your beliefs about intuition right now? What are your beliefs about how psychic, sensitive, or intuitive you are, right? What are your beliefs about energy? So, probably examining what your beliefs are, right? And then making sure you do practice techniques that help you open and expand those intuitive abilities, right? Because sometimes we may have some beliefs that make us think that our intuition is wrong, or other times it's not that, it's that we believe we are intuitive, but our own triggers from the past, our either past experiences, past trauma, is coming through, and we believe those things when that's not your intuition, that's not your divine guidance. What that is just trauma and triggers. So right now, this card brings the message of examine your beliefs about your intuition. Examine your beliefs about how intuitive you are, and also challenge any belief. Any when you get what you think is an intuitive hit, um, pause and think: is this my intuition, or is this a past trauma, or is this a trigger that is telling me that is fear based, right? So being able to differentiate between those two. Now, let's look at the throat chakra. And we have the Hermit. You are getting all major arcana cards. Very interesting. So, all right, what do we have when it's the Hermit, that it's such an introspective type of card, but it comes in the throat chakra, right? So, right now, the Hermit, when it's in this position, I always say, it's just letting you know to pause before you speak your truth. So, not to silence you, but to pause, to make sure that what you're saying is for the good of others, so you are shining that light onto others, so that your truth is not to hurt, that when you voice out something, it is because it's going to do a greater good, right? So, not to silence you, this is just to pause before you speak, to make sure that what you are saying is either kind, is either illuminating to others. So you have a lot, your top chakras, let's revisit for a second, are all major arcana. So what this is saying is there is important messages here for you to think about and to reflect on, right? So making sure that the choices you make are aligned with your faith and your spiritual path, and to explore and challenge more the path that you have chosen, right? Doesn't look like there is something negative. It just say, make sure that you explore the path that you have chosen, or the spirituality you have chosen, to make sure it aligns with your deeper values, right? And always make the choices out of this. On the third eye is just saying, right now it is time to do practices that expand your intuitive side, but also to question when you get intuitive hits, if they come from intuition or from triggers or past trauma, right? And also what your beliefs about intuition are at this time. And the Hermit in the throat chakra is just telling you, pause at this time, and before you speak, make sure that what you're going to say shines a light onto others. So it's kind, it is illuminating, it is for the greatest good. Now, let's look at the heart chakra, that it is the bridge between the upper and the lower ones. And here we already shift, as you see, from major arcana to minor arcana. And we have the Two of Swords, right? And the Two of Swords, swords air element, and we see that the eyes are closed, that we cannot see. So the Two of Swords, it's it's just letting us know, right? So the choices, the emotional choices that you have right now, it is not it is not a time to make them out of emotion, but to make them out of intellect, right? So if you face any choices right now that you feel that bring out different emotions that are affecting that heart chakra right now, it says make them out of facts, make them out of logic, right? Intellect. And make sure that you have all the facts, right? So not making choices blindly, but making those choices factual and logically instead of emotionally. Even if it counteracts what the heart chakra is all about, that it's about emotion. It says right now, if you begin facing some choices, some decisions that are giving you a hard time emotionally, right? Make sure that you have all the information laid out in front of you. And in order to make that choice easier, make sure that you're making it out of logic and being practical and being factual. All right, let's look at the solar plexus. And for the solar plexus, again, we have minor arcana, and we have another two, but this time is the Two of Pentacles, right? And we Twos are about choices, partnerships, and it's interesting how it flows from one two to another two, right? And it's saying, yeah, any decisions right now, the goal, the decisions that you make that have to be made logically and practically and making sure you have all the facts, the goal is that they align or they are about the things that you want to bring to life, you want to create, right? So, keeping those choices that you may be facing right now or you're about to face, doing it in a very logic, practical way, making sure you have the facts and making sure they align with what you want to create and bring into manifestation in life, right? What you want to grow. Now, the sacral chakra that is very united with the solar plexus, right? And here we have the Ten of Cups. And this is such a lovely card because it is about this fulfillment, right? Emotional fulfillment. So, how is this correlating together? So, we have choices that need to be factual, a logic that they need to be about what we want to grow and create. And this Ten of Cups is saying, hey, around the sacral chakra. Things seem to be, if we had to read it as an energy forecast, things seem to be going very well here, right? It only is saying, spend time with those people that you love, make sure to express love. And when it's in the sacral chakra, that expression of love is more physical than if it was here. If it was in the throat one, I would tell you express love with your words. But here, as it is in your sacral chakra, the guidance would be express love physically, right? So if it's a romantic relationship, express it maybe in an intimate way, right? Or if it's a friendship or another type of relationship, those hugs, those kisses, hugs, holding the person, right? So this is what this high expression of love. And what is the guidance for our root chakra? And we have the Four of Swords and the seer, that would be the high priestess, right? In traditional tarot. So, what is the Four of Swords telling us right now? So, it's pretty much, it's the Four of Swords is always a card to pause, to rest, you know, to build up strength, right? And when it comes to the root chakra is a chakra that a lot of people, a lot of us have issues with because it's about security, right? And how secure and safe we feel in the world. And to be honest, it's not easy to feel secure in the world sometimes, knowing everything that goes on, right? And different things that could be going on financially or with our jobs or anything like this. Or so this Four of Swords is asking for self-care. So to make sure you rest enough, you are practicing self-care, is just saying right now, make sure that your efforts are on resting. And those resting and practicing self-care, it's mostly also about your thoughts, right? So it's very good that you do self-care routines, but the idea is to manage your thoughts right now so they are not creating so much fear around situations and around your life, right? And the seer here, that would be the high priestess, is telling you go within, a lot of meditation at this time. Meditation or contemplative prayer, this pause and this introversion of like pausing, going inside, and just making sure that you are managing your fear, your fearful thoughts, that come in, those intrusive, fearful thoughts. And it advises with meditation, with contemplative prayer, with silence and stillness and mindfulness. All right. I hope you enjoyed your reading. These chakra readings tend to be a little bit longer. Please give a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you get notifications of all the new videos I post weekly and all the daily shorts. And if you have a question about my services, do not hesitate to reach out or book your private session or private reading with me on my website or my Gumroad storefront. All right, let's look at the second fairy. All right, let's take a look at our blue fairy right now. All right, again, we are going to tell the cards what our intention is to please get an advice and guidance for each one of our 7 main chakras, starting with the crown chakra all the way down to the root. We say a prayer of protection in love and light for our greatest good. All right, so let's wake them up. And crown chakra, third eye, throat chakra, heart. Very straight messages today. Solar plexus, sacral, and root. So for those of you who picked this deck, these very straightforward messages, let's begin with the crown chakra, and we have the 4 of cups. All right. So what this card is telling us in relationship to our crown chakra, that's our spirituality, is saying, are you paying attention? That's the question. Are you paying attention to your spirituality right now? Are you connecting with it? Do you feel an emotional connection to your spiritual path? Right? Are you paying attention to the messages that they are being given to you? Right? So pretty much is just that. Oops, I'm sorry. I think I moved the camera. All right. So it is about paying attention to messages, paying attention to your spiritual journey, right? I always say that there are 3 main pillars of our well-being, our, health in a way. And it's all health, by the way, but and well-being. But the 3 main pillars are our mental health, mental and emotional health, physical health, and also spiritual health. So this card is asking you, are you paying attention to your spirituality, to your faith? Are you paying attention to the guidance that you're giving? Do you have an emotional closeness to your spirituality? Do you feel emotionally attached or emotionally close to the spiritual path that you have chosen or that you are practicing, right? So paying attention, mostly the question is, are you paying attention here to your spiritual path? And so making sure it aligns with what you want, and making sure the path that you've chosen aligns, and that you're paying attention, and that you are actually practicing something that it is emotionally fulfilling for you. All right, what about the third eye? So for the third eye, we get the Knight of Wands. Oh, the Knight of Wands is this knight full of energy, movement, wants the fire element, right? So what is it telling us in relation to the third eye chakra? And here, what it's mostly telling us is that there is movement, right? There is a lot of rapid intuitive hits that you may be having. And it's interesting because here we have pay attention. Are you paying attention to messages? And here is how we receive the messages. So you are getting a lot of guidance that it's an intuitive guidance that comes really fast and brings you messages, guidance from your spirit guides, from your angels, from the divine. And it's are you paying attention? Because things are coming rapidly. So again, it seems that if we had to read the energy forecast for it, it is open here, right? But perhaps you're not paying attention. Perhaps you're not paying attention to the intuitive hits that you do. And if you are, you think that you're paying attention, know that there is a fluid energy that brings a lot. So it's very open at this time. So paying attention to not only if you're having them, but those messages that are coming, right? Because it seems to be very open around the third eye chakra. All right, and now we move into a major arcana here for the Wheel of Fortune towards the throat chakra. And what is the Wheel of Fortune telling us regarding our throat chakra? So the Wheel of Fortune is usually changes, right? But it's usually positive changes. We always have to say this. Positive changes a lot of times initiated by us. So there are other types of changes that other cards tell, but the Wheel of Fortune is always positive changes. But what is it telling us in relationship? In relationship to that throat chakra. So it's telling us that here the guidance is to examine the way we communicate and to make some changes. All right, to make some changes in the way we are bringing out our messages, right? The way we communicate, the way we explain things to others. There may be a change that it is required in our communication to improve it. So none of this is saying anything is going bad. It's just giving you the guidance to examine what ways can you improve your communication right now. Right? Look at the way you're communicating, and maybe there are some tweaks that you need to make on how you communicate your message, right? Quick recap of the top chakras. For your crown spiritual aspect, are you paying attention to your spirituality? Are you paying attention to the messages you're being given? Do you feel an emotional connection with your spiritual path, right? And yes, are you paying attention, because there is a rapid movement of intuitive hits coming, so it is to pay attention to all of them because there is rapid movement there, and there are some changes that need to be made on the way you communicate. So also paying that attention to communication and what changes you feel would be appropriate to make on the way you communicate right now. And we continue with major arcana. So these are the most important messages that tarot is giving you right now. And for the heart chakra comes from the Emperor. If we had to read these from an energy forecast that I call, the Emperor is saying things seem settled around your heart chakra, and right now giving it stability, right? So how do we give stability to our heart chakra? So that's our emotional center. So pretty much the best advice would be to choose your battles, to make sure. So keep in mind the Emperor, stability. So when things feel rocky around your life, choosing a stability, choosing peace. That's why choosing your battles wisely, because right now, a stability and peace around your heart chakra is what is needed. And remember, the heart chakra is that bridge of connection between our top and lower ones. And let's see our sacral chakra, that creation, and again, we continue with major arcana, and here we have the Hierophant. And what is the Hierophant saying to us, right? And if the Emperor, and you saw me shuffle, so the cards came out as they came out, right? So it's not that they were in order, although it seems, because we go here from the Emperor that is asking for a stability, right? And the Hierophant is asking also to continue to the things that you're bringing into your life, that you're creating, that you're bringing into life, right? To do it in a very cautious, traditional way. That is pretty much what he's saying. To continue building a stability with not to be too impulsive or not to do things out of the norm too much, right? This is the guidance. So, what feels stable for you right now? What feels like a good, not impulsive, but a good way to build or to create security around the things in your life, right? In a very traditional manner. And what is the sacral chakra? And the sacral chakra, another major arcana. Interesting. But the sacral chakra that is very united with the solar, here it changes. It brings out the devil card. Again, do not be afraid of this card. It's not as bad as it seems. The devil is just saying for the sacral chakra right now is asking for your relationships, right? Or any, what I would say, look at any physical or intimate relationships that you have, or even it could be with others. It's saying, is there any type of unhealthy attachment, right? Or that you feel. Do you feel that you depend on somebody, you depend on something? That is a type of unhealthy attachment. The only thing that this devil card is telling you is to look at the attachment that you have, right? And most likely to people, but it could be also to things. And it is, make sure you're not being dependent on anyone or anything in an unhealthy way, right? So it is all about building a stability and security and not creating that dependency on anything or anybody, because that creates that unhealthy attachment. And the magician for the root. So it's all here. Before we had major arcana on the other deck, on the upper chakras. Here is all coming towards the lower ones. And the magician, what a beautiful card for the root chakra. And the magician is telling you, when it comes to that security and that security in life, in the world, and it's just telling you, hey, you know what, the energies around you say that you are powerful always, but it's saying right now, make, look at all the resources around you. Things seem to be better than you realize, and you can actually make changes or do things from a position of power. All right. So for the lower ones that are the major arcana, I would tell you, change your communication. Make sure you are building a stability. You're creating a very thing that will be stable all over time, and that it's more traditional, not so impulsive. Be careful with or be careful or watch out for unhealthy attachments right now. You want to move away from any unhealthy attachment, any dependency on people or things, and remembering how powerful you are, and that you are in a position right now from that root chakra that sustains you to create change around your life in a very positive way. So here, change starting with the way you communicate and building that stability. All right, if you liked your reading, give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and go to my storefront or my website to see all the private offerings I have, from live sessions to pre-recorded readings. All right, let's look at the last chakra. The last deck, that yellow fairy. And let's look at the chakras for those of you who picked this deck, this cute little deck that it's very easy to manage. All right, let's tell the cards, what is it? Well, that's our intention and what we ask of them. We ask to get a message for each one of our 7 major chakras in love and light for our greatest good. All right. This deck is smaller than a regular size, and I have noticed that they are very easy to manage, and they bring out messages much faster and smoother. Ooh, I'm telling you, this one just wanted to come right out. Jumpy, jumpy, jumpy. And here we have two more. Yes, I've noticed this deck is very jumpy. Oopsie. All right, let's go. I am telling you, it's a very talkative deck. All right. Very talkative. Whatever wants to jump out, I let it. Okay. All right. Let's begin with the crown chakra here. And the message comes from the Five of Cups and the Hermit. Okay. All right. So what is this telling us in relationship to our that spiritual center, that crown chakra? And Five of Cups tends to be the cup of grief or sorrow about something emotionally, right? It's just saying, it's maybe asking you, um, how are you going through something that feels like grief? And that could be in relationship to your spirituality, right? And again, just like the other deck is asking you, how connected do you feel right now to your spiritual path? Do you feel an emotional connection, right? And it is letting you know that having that spiritual connection, whatever faith or spiritual path you choose, is very important to help with healing grief, to healing heartbreak, any type, either grief because somebody has passed on from your life, or even heartbreak. And is saying, make sure you're connecting right now. You're connecting to your spirituality. Make sure that you feel an emotional connection to your spirituality, because it will help you with any unresolved grief or heartbreak or pain that you carry, emotional pain that you carry. And the best way to do this is to do an inner reflection, right? It's not asking you to go find a guru or go find a priest or you know or a pastor. It's saying right now, spend some time with yourself, asking what is the best way to for me to connect to my spiritual path. What is the best way to connect so I can heal some emotional pain, some grief, or some heartbreak? So it's all about going within yourself to connect spiritually, to help with any unhealed pain that you're going through, but also to make sure that your spiritual path is giving you that emotional connection that you need, right? So let's see our throat chakra. What's the message here? Here. All right, and here we have it from the Seven of Swords, right? And very, very simple what this card is telling us. Are you trusting your your intuitive abilities right now? Are you trusting yourself intuitively? Are you saying, yeah, I sense this, you know? Not I feel it. When we feel from our emotions, right? And when I think, then it is from our thoughts. And when it is our intuition, is I sense. I sense something. I do not know what, but I sense it. So are you trusting your intuitive senses right now? Are you trusting yourself intuitively? Or are your thoughts and your intellectual abilities, the way you think about things, taking precedent? right? So this is the reflection the card is making you. Is giving you right now. Are you trusting yourself intuitively, or are you allowing your brain and your intellectual side to take over and dismissing your intuitive parts? So examine that, because we are all intuitive, and our logical intellectual side is as important as our intuitive one, right? And I actually even paid more attention, though both are important, to my intuitive side. So here he's saying, trust yourself more. And are you trusting yourself enough? Or is your brain on your intellectual side taking over? Right? And what about our throat chakra? And the message comes from the Page of Wands and the star, the beautiful star. So what is the Page of Wands saying towards the throat chakra? That it is communication, and is saying, all right, there is some impulses. This is a fire element, so some impulses to say things. So there are some things that need to be said right now, and yes, it's kind of like a green light. Okay, make sure that you are saying those things that you have an impulse to saying, right? And maybe you can either bring this in, what are you intuitively feeling that you need to say, right? Because this will be important for your growth or the growth of something important in your life. And here the star is telling you, talk, have faith in what you have to say, right? What you have to communicate and what you have to say is important. Follow your star, follow your intuition, those impulses, and speak up more. This is what it's telling you. Speak up more. There is some growth, and you may not be speaking up as much as it is needed. What about the heart chakra? And it comes from the Ace of Cups and the Tower. Look at this. Again, disclosure here. Do not be afraid when you see the Tower card. All right, so what is the Ace of Cups telling us? All right, around our heart chakra, that it is that emotional center. And he's saying, hey, it seems that your energy right there is flowing smoothly. There is love to be given, right? And the Tower, how is the Tower in relation to the Ace of Cups here? Is saying, perhaps you are afraid of expressing your love, right? And even expressing things with your voice, so voicing things out. And this card is just saying there is a lot of love to be expressed, a lot of things to be said that come from your emotional side. And it's just letting you know, do not be afraid. Things need to be expressed, because if you are not expressing them, then yes, you're building relationships or you're building friendships or whatever it is on a bad foundation. So making sure that you express what you feel for other people, express your love, voice out who you are, follow that intuition, follow that star on saying who you are, what you're about, who you love, and what you love. Because by doing that, you are going to build a good foundation. If you do not do that, then it builds a bad foundation towards friendships, relationships, or anything around your life. And let's look at the solar plexus. And we got 3 cards. We got the Seven of Cups, the Six of Wands, and the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so what this card is telling you is, now when we talk about the solar plexus, so things that you want to, between the solar plexus and the sacral are things that you want to bring to life, that you're creating, right? And it's telling you, look at all your options from an emotional perspective. So right now, when you are making decisions for things that you are bringing into your life, look at them from how you feel emotionally about them, right? Make sure that it is not an illusion that you are having of things or daydreaming about things that are not possible, but making decisions from how you feel about them. So expressing, here is telling you to express your love, to express yourself more, to that there is a lot of love to give. And here is saying there are things that you do care very much about, and it is time to look at them, right? And not only look at them, but move forward decisively on the things that you want to do, right? You have options, things that you care about. It's about moving decisively towards what you want. Moving decisively, as it is this once that it is the fire element, and it's saying, because by making decisions, moving action, taking action and movement forward, you are going to begin something, a new opportunity. It will come that will bring a lot of the things that you've been wanting to manifest. So look at your options, make decisions that are emotionally felt, and move forward confidently to bring those things into manifestation and into reality. How about the sacral chakra, right? That it is the Nine of Wands, and that they are very together and related, those two chakras. And the Nine of Wands is just saying, you know what? Right now, you are taking action towards things to bringing it to manifest. And as I said here, you have to do it decisively, because you may be thinking that there are maybe some self-doubt that comes to the past, from the past, and this card is asking for you to examine any self-doubt that you have right now in relation to this, that it's not letting you take action decisively. So think of or reflect or even journal, what are you doubting about? What's the self-doubt that you have about moving forward, taking action, or speaking up? And for our root chakra, we have the sun. So again, if this was an energy forecast, I would tell you the sun is telling you that the energies around your root chakra are flowing very well. And not only this, is just saying, you know what, right now, it's all about feeling secure in the world in a way that it is very positive. So the only advice I would give from this card is, or this card would give you, is to keep doing things that bring you joy. Let the joy bring that security into your life. So by following that joy, by doing these things that make you happy, is that you're creating security. So anything that's making you smile is helping this chakra keep working well. Anything that's making you smile and it brings you joy. All right, I hope you enjoyed your reading. Give a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and as always, please reach out and make an appointment for a live session or get a pre-recorded reading, or just reach out if you want to find out more about how I work with the cards and coaching to help you along your journey, or help you get unstuck from whatever. These types of readings are great for if you're feeling stuck, if you're going through a life transition, right? If you want coaching and tarot on your side as you're moving forward. All right, have a fantastic rest of your week and brightest blessings.